Real process functionality provided by Salesforce. We have created a travel expense object which the salespeople can use to create business related expenses. They then submit these records for approval to their immediate managers. So here we will create three expense records. As you can see, for the three records that we just created, the approval status has been set to not submitted for approval. That's because the default value for this field has been set to this. So when the record is created, it will have this value. Now let's submit all of these three records for approval. Now, as you can see, when we submitted them for approval, these three records now contain the approval status of submitted for approval. This was because the initial submission part of the Salesforce approval process has something called they have the actions. So one of these actions is field update. So the approval status has been changed with the use of this field update action of the initial submission part of Salesforce approval process. Now let's log in as the. Let's first recall one of these travel requests. Let's say the person who has submitted them has forgotten to add something, some detail or something. So we will revise the request and resubmit it. But for the time being, he or she wants to recall it. So let's say we want to recall the food expense related request. As you can see here, the approval history now contains the two steps. The first is what it was submitted, and the second it has been sent to Lisa Baker, who is the manager of this particular user. So let's recall this. Now, if you go back and check the status, approval status for this particular, it says record. Now let's log in as Lisa Baker, who is the manager, the immediate manager of this user who has submitted the expenses, and she will be able to see these requests, and let's approve one of them and reject the second one. Alright, so I have logged in as Lisa Baker. So here you can see that she has received these notifications. First of all, requesting approval for travel expense, travel, lodging, and here now it says food expense request has been recorded. Okay. So here we'll go to this. This is the travel related expense which the subordinate or the person who reports to this Lisa Baker has submitted. So let's approve this one. And then let's go to the lodging request. Let's reject this. Okay, so the travel expense was approved and the lodging expense was rejected. So I'll log out of this manager account now and log back in as the person who originally submitted the request, and let's see how the status has changed. So as you can see, the food expense record has an approval status of recalled. The travel request has been approved and the lodging has been rejected. Now, this is the simplest approval process that you can have with Salesforce approval related functionality. You can have multiple steps in the approval process. Like for example, first approval will be needed by the immediate manager, and if the expense is above a certain limit, then it goes to another user, maybe approved or rejected, and based on that, it goes for final rejection or approval. In addition to updating of the fields, you can send an email, you can send an outbound message, and basically this can involve multiple layers. Also, there's a facility to send email alerts. So I'll show a screenshot of the email which the person submitting the request gets when the request is approved or rejected, as well as his or her manager gets when the request is first submitted. So here I have taken screenshots of the emails which were sent to the manager and to the submitter of the request. So here you can see the email which the manager will receive, informing him or her that a new expense request has been submitted. And there is another screenshot of the rejection. This is what the submitter of the expense request will see when his or her request is approved or rejected. This format can be customized. This is the simplest one that we have created for the purpose of this demo. So, with the help of the Salesforce approval process, a request can be submitted. It can be in the simplest form approved or rejected by the immediate manager of the submitter, or it can be a multi-step process in which there could be different approvers at different steps. Tasks can be associated with different users as a result of action. Emails can be sent, fields can be updated, and there is also a facility to recall the request that has been submitted.